So I'm gonna make a video about when to cut people out and when to pull them in and give them love. And so the reason I really want to do this is that I know many people, they know the importance of being around the right people. They know the importance of cutting out bad people, but I don't think a lot of people know just how important it is, and they don't know how to go about it and how to identify it. And I just have my own little systems that have helped me out. And I think that there's certain terms that other people would resonate with that I haven't heard anybody talk about, that once I speak them out loud, it'll make total sense. And if it doesn't, leave a comment. So I'm going to start off with talking about a personal story of mine. I'm not going to give the most explicit details. I'm okay with being vulnerable, but I'm not going to throw other people under the bus. So first story is when I was 18, 19, 20, went into the Navy, went into the military, right? And I needed to figure out, who am I? I need to find my voice. I needed to just be unjudged and like go into the world and travel and go through it. I need to go through my personal agoge, right? If you don't know what an agoge is, a Spartan child, whenever he is going to become a man, goes through a trial. And so this was just my personal agoge, just going through all this. If you don't know my experience or what I did in the military or how it ended up going, it sucked, but it's probably another video, so I'm not gonna go through it now. But I needed to become myself, right? And so I had people that I communicated with very heavily. We're gonna talk about what's called a seasonal cutout. It's not a permanent cutout. Maybe they don't even deserve it too much, but it's a seasonal cutout. So for example, my parents and my family, when I went in, I didn't even really write them too much in boot camp. I didn't call them really. I didn't text them. Everybody else, they're calling their parents every weekend, hour-long phone call. When I was going through my developing myself, I just couldn't handle mentally back then the little judgments, the little advice, the how are things going, the helicopter parenting, all of it. I don't need to explain this stuff over a lot. And for this, I went through this season from about 18 to 25. And now my life is this is so beautiful. This is amazing. I love this. I'm so glad I did it. Oh my God. I'm going to explain in a second. You're going to be like, oh my God, I agree with you. Okay. I was a self-development junkie. Still kind of am. But I was so bad to the point where if you saw me without a book, under my arms, it was a very, very, very uncommon occurrence. If we were driving somewhere, I had a book. If anything we were doing, I had AirPods in, and I'm playing an audiobook. I'm playing a podcast. And it was just so much to the point where if I came home from the military for Christmas and I had only a week or two with them, I was maybe spending an hour or two with them, if that. I was spending the whole time just reading books and listening to podcasts, going through some 10 grand course that I bought and I'm in debt for again, going through a coaching session, whatever. Okay. I don't regret it at all. I don't. But when I look back, I'm like, dude, that time that you go for Thanksgiving, the time you spend in the car, transit with your family, that time you're at Christmas, the whole time, by the way, is meant to be with them. You're going to look back at it 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? They're dead. You're old. You're going to be like, dude, wish I spent more time with them. Okay. And so I am just at a point now where I could feel it. It's done. And now all I want to do is I want to spend time with my family. All I want to do is I want to spend time with my mother, my father, my sister. I can't get enough of it. I want to take my mom on little mom and son dates. I want to bring her to a coffee shop. I'll pay. Let's go get some crepes. Let's go get some Dunkin' Donuts. Let's just drive around and listen to music. Whatever. Oh, you got off of work? You want to watch a movie? Want to talk about your day? Calling her up. My father, oh my God, his kids are his entire life. What a heartbreak for him when I did this to him. I know him very well. His kids are his entire life. Background photo, Facebook photo, background photo, all of it. Homie's dedicated, okay? Now, he always wants to do stuff with me. I'm almost asking him to do too much stuff. I'm like, dude, let's go take a train. Let's go to New York. Let's go to a comedy club. Let's do this. Same with my sister, right? All I want to do. She's 9 years, almost a decade younger than me. And all I want to do is I want to do stuff with her. That's all I want to do. I'm like, let's do stuff. Okay? Now, I'm in my mid to late 20s. What do you think a hormonal, she's 17 right now. What do you think a hormonal 17-year-old is going to think about her big brother wanting to do stuff with her all the time? Get your girl away from me. I want to do nothing with you. You gotta work. You know? I understand though. I was the exact same way. So it's so intriguing watching the cycle go round. You know, hormonal kid doesn't know who they are yet, still figuring it out. Not like once you find your voice, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say finding who you are and finding your purpose. Those are two different things. Never mind. I was about to say, like, you never know what you're doing. Never mind. All right. But she don't want to do nothing with me. Okay? Don't want to. So it'll be very intriguing when she's my age or older, and she wants to do stuff with everybody as well. She wants to do a lot of hang out. Right? And so now we're talking about family. Now I'm going to talk about friends. Right? Friends. Now, although it's unpopular to keep these people around, contrary to popular opinion, I got friends, who are druggies and criminals. And people will say, hey, you don't want to be around those people. Listen, I have people that I grew up with, and if they're the kind of people that would kill people, and if they told me about it, I'd probably help them bury the body, At least I wouldn't tell anybody about it, I'd be like, they'd be like, dude, I just slaughtered this dude, buried him under the bridge. I'd be like, oh, did you take a selfie with him at least? Did you take a selfie with the body? Make some sort of bad sense of humor, whatever. The point is, there's certain individuals there that I love them. I grew up with them, knew them since kindergarten, and they went down a different path. I went down my path. You got some Hells Angels people over here. You got some of these guys over here. That's great. Okay. I need to have a direct conversation and be like, hey, look, love you. We grew up together. Known you since freaking we were yay big. But you have a way of being, and you get into certain predicaments that I don't want to get into. We cannot do these predicaments anymore. I'm done. I'm going down more of the self-development entrepreneur path. You're going down more like the party YOLO path. That's cool. I love you. But these the 2 a.m. like hangouts, getting drunk and stuff, we just can't have them anymore. Okay. I need to stop talking to you for a little bit. I got to go down my little self-development journey path, and I hope you understand. It's nothing against you. I talk to you about my ambitions. Boom. Right? And you reconnect a few years from now, and you guys get a coffee, and you talk about the good old times. That's how it works, Exactly. Now, there are obviously certain people that are so bad that you're like, dude, I just can't, that's like the guy. He's the guy that like probably is going to be an axe murderer and just like, get involved in some gang violence or something, I'm not talking about, I'm making jokes, by the way. I'm not talking about like really, really bad people. I'm just talking about, the friends are a little bit too into partying, and they, just want to go down a different path. They don't, yeah. So those are the seasonal cutouts, right? And then I'm going to talk about number 2, which is drawing boundaries. It's not exactly a seasonal cutout. It is, but it's for a different purpose. It's not a good self-development. It's just somebody crossed a boundary, or you're setting a boundary, and now you need to cut somebody out because of something that happened. I'll give you an example. Again, I'm not going to give specifics, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal life. Me and my father. I love my father to death. I would do anything for him. But we had a period in our life where tensions were building, okay? And he said something and did something where I was like, that is it. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to cut you out for, but we do not have a relationship currently. Right? And that was one of the harder things I've ever done, right? And through it, he became a much better person. I became a much better person. And by the way, I want to make this super duper clear too. Doing something like that, to anybody, family member, friend, you gotta be so careful with it. I mean, so careful with it. Because it's not just about being careful with doing it. It's about being careful with having the heart to be able to do it. I think one of the worst relationships in the world is being in a relationship with somebody that can even do that. Like, you don't want to be that guy that like, hey, you know, I love you, but if you cut across the line, like, I'm cutting you out. Like, no, I think that is a horrible dynamic. It's a horrible relationship dynamic. But sometimes you gotta like set boundaries, and those boundaries can result in like, okay, look, we're gonna have to cease this relationship if this continues, if your behavior continues, and I'm not talking about my dad, I'm talking about anybody. I've done this with friends. You know, it could be for, hey dude, I love you, but if you, I don't want to give examples because then I'm gonna put myself in a hole about the corner. But setting boundaries is super important, and it requires strength. And honest to God, I have the best relationship ever with my dad. I mean, oh my God, I don't think that there is a human being on this earth that has a better relationship with my dad. I'm talking about like the type of relationship where we could talk about that. We could talk about the cutting out and we laugh about it. We could talk about me getting, you know, beatings and the shit slapped out of me, and I could joke about it. And I could even tell him how I felt about it too, and it's no biggie. It's like, dude, you slapped the crap out of me. You know, I couldn't even feel my face. Oh my God. You remember when you did that thing? You got so blasted, you know? And there is zero hard feelings. There's zero bad feelings. It's 100% light. You could tell him about anything now. And I would never, ever cut him out again at all. I would never do it. But we just have that like small boundary, you know? And then occasionally, you know, you just have people that you have to cut out permanently. You know, but you got to be very careful with those people. Like I'm gonna tell you about, and this is another personal example. Again, with my dad, my sister decided to cut him out as well. He's an entirely different human being, entirely changed. And to be honest, the thing that she cut him out for, I have my opinions on about it. Wasn't even really that bad. Wasn't like the worst in the world. And this is nothing. I don't care if they watch this video, because these are things that I've told them repeatedly. Okay? But divorced parents, okay? Dad gets visitation rights. One weekend goes bad with my sister, cuts him out. It's been 5 years. 5 years, dude. Years of like a full cutout. My father, I know him. His life revolves around his kids. Like I was saying, revolves around us. Loves us with everything in him. Huge empath, right? Can get angry, can get sad, can get super happy. That's, if you want a way to kill him, that's the way to kill him. Take away the kids. She has not talked to him in so long. I tell them this. I don't care if they watch this. It's like, I don't care, because I tell them this. Like, imagine when the kid, my sister, turns 18, 20, 25, my age. The time has passed, right? And now she regrets doing it. But the time has passed. Her childhood is done. And he wasn't there because he wasn't allowed to be there. I think that is the silliest thing, to allow a kid the ability to choose whether or not they get visitation rights from their parents. I think that is the stupidest thing ever, because even if a kid is not emotionally mature enough to do that, and even if they do, the awkwardness of being like, hey, you can come over again. What? Like, this is the stupidest dynamic ever. The most 21st century bullshit I've ever heard of. But anyway, like, yeah, she's gonna go through prom. Wasn't there. First boyfriend wasn't able to be there. He tries to be there. So it's like sometimes, dude, you gotta let that shit go, dude. You gotta let it go. Right? Each situation varies. People have different relationships. People have gone through different things. People have different, whatevers. Traumas. But it's just envisioning that, like, cutting people out like that. It's like, dude, come on, man. I'm just imagining how horrible it's going to be when you're old, and you're like, man, I was the reason that he wasn't there. And she's going to beat herself up too. And it's going to be a very bittersweet journey. So with that aside, I'm going to talk about giving love too. To someone that you really know, okay? Someone you really know deserves it. And that is a strength. Listen, bro, if you think like setting boundaries requires strength, giving love requires so much strength. It is the most manly thing that you can do. Seriously. Not to get religious here, but one of the greatest things about Jesus is that when he died on the cross, he had a full heart. Nothing but love. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Right? Died of a broken heart. That's what I think Jesus died of. But it is such a strength to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to really like let yourself. There's a difference between being able to consistently be hurt through being vulnerable and being calloused. Those are two totally different things, and it is so hard to understand that. So hard. But just think about, I don't even know how to describe this. Think about if you're able to cry, like able to like really shed tears for somebody. Okay? You put yourself out there and you can be easily hurt. Something that most people think is a wimpy thing to do. But if you go and you're like just super excited and you're a happy individual and you can really feel for somebody and you can give them your emotions and you could love a woman, you could love a partner, you could love a family member. Giving them that love, like that takes practice. And that takes true strength. And that takes grit. To keep it, deep breath, keeping the heart open. And it can get punched. It can get punched a lot. But getting punched is different than when it gets punched. Now it's calloused. You can live your life and have a fully open heart that is vulnerable and able to be attacked. And I would say to people that give all your love. All of it. Even if it's overwhelming, to someone that deserves it. Okay? I don't care. If I overwhelm or overshower somebody with like too much love, I'm like, hey dude, I love you so much. You mean this much to me. If you weren't in my life, I didn't even know what I would do without you. When you did this thing, that changed my whole view on the world. It doesn't matter. And if they don't reciprocate it, cool. And dude, it's like I have people that, and this is what I'm saying with identifying people that you need to get closer with. I have people that 4 or 5 years ago I can remember, like really upstanding individuals that I just wasn't really hanging out with. Maybe it was somebody in high school. Maybe it was Boy Scouts, a really goody two-shoes guy that I wouldn't have hung out with. But now it's like, dude, that guy was going places. He really like focused on, he was an introvert and he really wanted to do this, and he was on the student council and the chess club. I will shoot that person a text right now. On my phone, on Facebook, and Instagram, I don't care. I will think about the person that I want to talk to. I haven't talked to him in 5 years. It could be I don't care. If it was my brother, like I don't have a brother biologically, but if it was like, let's say some of you guys have a brother and you think, wow, I haven't talked to that guy in 5-6 years. Let me shoot him a text. The text will literally be a thought about you. The time from it, I haven't thought about the individual, let's say in 5 years, haven't talked to them in 6 years. From the time that thought enters my mind, and I thought about them for the first time in 5 years, it will be in text form sent to them within 20 seconds. I don't care. When I think about somebody, I text them. If I want to bring somebody close to my life, I will go on a dinner date with them. I'll go on a lunch date with them. I'll get breakfast with them. Okay. When I was really trying to be super self-improvement-y, I thought it was so funny because I read books on the importance of relationships, and I would literally spend all my lunch hours just reading and going through podcasts and whatever. And it's funny because I read many books that talked about the importance of relationships, but that's why it's super important to implement what you learn. It's not just about knowledge, it's about implementing it. But I would definitely challenge everybody to figure out what season of your life you were in and to find a way to build up your love muscle to give people love. I remember when I was younger, I thought that was the lamest thing ever. I couldn't have thought of a lamer thing. I would say the G word, but I'm not gonna. It's a lame thing to do, I thought. But now I think it's the most manly thing to do ever. It's to tell someone how you feel. Express your emotion. Bro, you mean the most to me. I would die for you. Whoa, dude, you're being a little much. I mean, okay, like, all right, geez, be a little over the top. No, dude, I would die for you. I love you. I have family members who I never hugged. Never. They're bad at eye contact. They're bad at hugging. Never expressed their feelings to me. I will walk up to them now. I will start the relationship. I will be the one to initiate it. Come in. We're hugging. I'm hugging you. Hey, look, I love you. You mean the most to me. You mean the world to me. I don't know what I would do without you. I want you to know that. If somebody is getting into this, you know, I think it's a form of freedom to be able to express how you feel to someone, to give somebody love. If someone's getting into it, give it slowly. Give it to someone that you trust. Give it slowly. It's a seed. You can't judge yourself on a seed that hasn't grown into a tree. You give the seed to somebody you trust. Give little seeds here and there. Boom, boom, boom. Now it's a little bigger. You're a little bit better at it. You're a little stronger. Now you can do it with no problem. Open heart all the time. You could be the people that I admire the most in the world are people that can cry in front of other people. Isn't that insane? Isn't that weird? People that can tell a journey. I know. I'm sorry. People that could cry, not in front of other people. That's not what I meant to say. Cry on stage. One guy I admire a lot is Brandon Dawson. He was the one I saw do this. Dude can cry on stage. He can talk about emotions. He can cry in front of other people. Big crier. Okay. Me personally, I'm not really a crier, but dude, I look at that and I'm like, wow. Like it just makes you. You could literally be, talking to someone, feeling nothing, and all of a sudden they're vulnerable, and then a tear comes down, and you're just like, wow, I can connect with that person. I can connect with them, right? I'm not saying be a crybaby, and all of a sudden just like, she left me, like whatever. Oh my God, my heart's so hard. No, I'm not saying that. But the ability to express emotions and be real and authentic and vulnerable, I think it's the best thing in the world. So, that's what I'm going to end with.